of the private sector where they are being raised, they are being protected not because of the intrinsic value of the children's life, but because they want to protect the institutions, the value to be generated in the privately owned institutions. They make sure that those children are not given sufficient tools that will make them to protest against the system. But even when we come here, we also have the problem of the younger generation not feeling that that is the younger generation of the lecturers not feeling that or not knowing that we have a reason. In fact, we are the one to transmit the gene of protest through training to the students. So they don't want, they don't mention that the students even have some rights. And that, for instance, that the previous, some governments in this country were afraid of students sometimes. I remember I was in the youth service camp when we protested in 1988, and Babangida had to call all the service chiefs to protect him from being disgraced by the civilians. And there is therefore a paradigm shift, generationally speaking, generated by both the training process and the type of children that we are raising. We've told our children that they are more valuable than the society, that they should not confront the gun. But I am afraid the colonialists were more wicked than any present governments that we could ever have. And yet people confronted them. But apart from that, there is also a problem of fear in the minds of the leaders. I remember there was a time that the University of Uyo had a crisis. And in that crisis, I went to some people to address the students. Because the Vice Chancellor was not around. Address the students. They first come to my lecture room, and I addressed them that there is no problem. What you're having, you have some points. Somebody would address you. Go to the student affairs or go to the administration, expecting that somebody should address them. That thing snowballed till the evening. No one addressed those students. No leader should be afraid of addressing very terrible situation. Leaders are what leaders if they can sorry. Leaders are only the leaders if they can confront situations that seems opposing and bring it into peaceful resolution. So there is that fear on the one hand, and another fear to be addressed from those who should protest. Nobody should be willing or should fear protesting, that the administration, no administration will ever encourage protest against it. But the people who should protest should know that they are opposing, and they should be able to bear the consequences of opposing. So I wish that you integrate all this into the idea when eventually you look into it.
I'm compelled to ask a question because that lecture was delivered for all of us. And so we have questions, observation from the other side of the divide. It would appear as if we didn't really listen to the lecture. Now, my worry, which I want the lecturer to place through a little more light, is that people will have the courage to protest. And some people will come out to counter protest. In the morning, there's protest. In the evening, there's a counter protest. Most cases, in quote, sponsored, politically motivated. So tell us the direction to go. If in the morning we have protest, and in the afternoon we have a counter protest. Thank you very much.
So that while so I want to give this addressing us, he can also address this. He did mention as there is something about stale protests. When the protest is so repeatedly done, yields no value, and the same products come, the same excuses for recalling people from the strike, the same thing all over again, and another one is announced. And the social implications of this is that people say, no, not again. So the body loses the societal sympathy which goes ordinarily with such protests. Because we are doing the same thing, the same old way, and in an academic environment where it is pertinent for the people to think on their feet and off the cuff, that doing the same thing that does not yield any value or results does not make any meaning. It becomes a very subjective issue when we continue to protest against all sorts of things, which you actually really are entitled to. But it is done and the same results are obtained, and we go back to work waiting for the next time we will go. Today, I do not know whether ASU has resolved the issues for which they went on strike for so many years. I just wish it were possible. So I think that protest sometimes could be anti-societal and could be anti-productive. Mr. Dr. Professor Wadwike, please, I would like you to address us when you come to this.
Mr. Chairman, the Vice Chancellor, the celebrant. Well, if I did not make this comment, I think I would be failing in my duty as a leader of protesters. Somebody said a moment ago that protests will not bring results. Protests usually bring results. There is no protest that will not bring results. Only those who make peaceful protests impossible make violent ones inevitable. Mr. Chairman, I like what the man of God, Bishop Omana, the comment he made. Truly, the celebrant is a product of protest. But he took the protest to Abuja. He was trained in the act of protest in Unica. He protested in the US and was arrested. So protest is a way of life. I'm telling you that Asipo Sedibok, who also made a comment, was in faraway Kano State when protests even resulted in the burning down of the radio station in that place. So protest should be encouraged. But while they are describing Nigeria as the headquarters of poverty in the world, Akpa Ibom State is the headquarters of docility. Docility. Our people hate protesters. They don't accept protesters as normal people because they tell their children at home not to go to join protest. This school fees I'm giving you, I'm not sending you to go and do protest. So while Arab countries were protesting against bad governance, we were nursing one in Nigeria. There were protests in most Arab countries that we say are Islamic nations. Our own Christian country was suffering in silence. So, Prof, your lecture was excellent, and protest should be encouraged. When you protest against bad governance, bad events, protest bring good things. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'd like to thank everybody that made comments and the question. I will first begin with the chairman. That is saying when you protest too much on the same thing becomes still. What came to mind was the Israelite in the land of Egypt. You go, God said, let my people go. He said, you are lazy. They multiply their suffering. But eventually they had to go. Whatever happened, either by the number of years the government is in place or by overwhelming pressure on the protest, the big change is inevitable. So we cannot say all that ASU has been protesting for, have been asking for. In fact, 85% are not even for them. 85% is for the student, for the system. So, and if ASU were to be very selfish, you want our money, you don't give us money. You will give us money, you don't have where the people don't have reagents, there are no laboratories, there are no classroom, and you will be graduating illiterate. It will come back to haunt us. So it's better ASU will continue. Well, I agree, we can have to change strategy, they are being innovative, but protest must continue there. That maybe by 4 o'clock, these other people will come. What do we do? So it's a thing that should be built into the model. But it's not what should stop or discourage protest. Okay, the Professor facility here. The price you pay for wanting to live today is that you will not have tomorrow. I don't know. Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
If you are afraid of dying today, you will die tomorrow. And when you die tomorrow, all the generation will also come and suffer. In history, there are always people that lead the way. Some of them don't live to enjoy the benefits. And until there are such people are ready to lead, until we are able to raise such people, the few criminals will do everything to subjugate the majority. And if that happens, it will not just be you, your generation, your children, their children's children. See, what is happening in the north right now started, it's a strategy. If you go to the north, the children of the elite go to the best school abroad. Their own children go to the best school abroad. And in place like Zamfara State in 1999, when I was at Ekpo, only 4 people could go to university from that state if you wave down for them. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Only 4 people had the requirement to go to university in that year. If you say don't write down.
The regional requirement.
So you will see that because those other people and the people that are doing perpetrating this are even the minority. I hope you know that the federal laws are the minority. Because they have improved, they weaponize poverty, impoverish the other people, deny them education. Because what will break their mind is education. Once you are educated, you'll be asking for, you'll be rational. You'll be asking for why is this? You start asking questions. Those questions will generate to protest. Protest will come to bring about change. And because they are in a minority, majority will always overcome the minority. It's a process, it's a matter of time. So, for Akpa Ibom State, like you have rightly said, it's unfortunate some people are being killed because of remapping. Wait for me, we all live this land. Where is their grandfather 10 generations ago? They are not here. But that does not mean somebody should criminally come and do things which are not acceptable to the people. People have right to protest, and the government must listen to the people. What is democracy? Government of the people, by the people and for the people. So if the people say this, they don't want this, it behoves you as the government to listen to them or to bring superior argument to convince them. And until you do that, you cannot use force. And until you are convinced, you should not stop protesting. Protesting is a tool that has been deployed to get every. You know, you have seen the slave trade now. You'll still be selling and buying people. The socialists. Okay. You see, in political science, what they call the dialectics, synthesis will form a synthesis and form its own antithesis. So at the end of the day, they will keep eliminating until the best appear. For instance, if somebody is not qualified to run for office for whatever reason, and everybody knows, you keep quiet, and he comes and becomes your governor, he's going to take decision that will be suboptimal because it doesn't have it, no matter how well intentioned. If you don't have a capacity, if you are not been trained, you are going to take suboptimal decision that would affect everybody. And when, because it's from my village, or it's from my church, or it's from my local government, you did not say anything, he is there. At the end of the day, everybody suffer, including you. So it is, but when we protest and say you are not qualified, we want someone that is qualified, that has the ability, and all of us stand together. Democracy, we will have our way. We will have, they cannot kill everybody. Did you know that? They cannot kill everybody. At best they will kill some, but they will get them. So the fear of socialism is practically dead because it was something that was not natural. Capitalism is natural, but what we should feed to capitalism is the welfare, so that the poor could be adequately taken care of. Because when you say from every man a communism according to his ability, to every man according to his need, you will not discover those that have more need don't have ability. So it's going to, that's why communism broke down at a certain stage. Yeah, the student protest, Prof. Yeah, students are, VC is here. And I'm not sure if VC will stop students from protesting for demonstrating. What we will frown at will be destroying property or killing people. You cannot stop people from airing their grievances. In fact, if all the students in Nigeria protest on a party, if they are able to be organized for any particular reason, positive reason, no, I don't know that to come and protest, you all give them degree, they don't want to go to school. And you will not say for positive reason, it would force the authority to listen to them. Because they are critical mass. They will listen to them. If all the students, assuming that there's no water for toilet, for all is basic, and the students come and say there is no water in our hostel, and they must, I don't see the vice chancellor saying police go and kill them, or go and quench the riot. Rather, he will now redouble his effort to make sure that that problem is solved. And if nobody protested, they just say, oh, we are very good, you don't want to be enter trouble with the university. For after 1 week, they will not be able to enter their hostel. They might even have health issues. So protest is very good. And for leaders, if you don't want protest to be violent, address it at the time and make sure that the conditions that we bring about protest are mitigated. They have to be proactive to mitigate that. So students are allowed to, in fact, we encourage students to protest if they are protesting for something that is positive. In fact, if I were a student leader, I would protest against the signing of this loan thing by the government. Because they are obligating their responsibility. You give me 200 million to go and pay fees. Because in the act, it said for the tuition, which means I will collect the money, go and pay tuition to the school. I'm still where I was. So what has changed? And to say I will need to have a director. How many directors are there in Nigeria compared to the student population? If you director guarantee one person, what are other people that don't have director or a lawyer that is 10 years standing? It's not workable. It is not workable. Then dialogue. Somebody said, yeah, of course, it's the protest that leads to dialogue. If you did not register your protest, nobody will dialogue with you. Is it not true? So if dialogue is to resolve the grievances. So protest is still the way to go. Then somebody talk about that protest in the free world. Look, when the military were here, I started feeling Nigeria were more active. Yes. June 12, the whole country was shut down for about 3 months. Yeah, Ali must go in 1978. And they were all under military. So even the Sab riot. So the fear, the oppressors want to instill that fear into you. We are too precious. Don't come out so that you know. If all of us are afraid, we lock ourselves in, then we will have a field day. And protest must not necessarily mean going on the street. like I said, we cannot protest as academics. We start writing. There are several forms of protest. If you are galvanized enough, then we will start come together and raise a movement, social movement to advocate to carry out advocacy. So that everywhere we go, we raise the same issue, and somebody will have to listen to us. So whatever happens, nobody should take the right of protest from us. And we should not surrender the right to protest, because if you do that, you have willingly made yourself a slave. Thank you very much.
Congratulate a man that I regard as the visible hand of God in my life, Professor Akpan Ekpo. You were my lecturer at the undergraduate level, and you were my lecturer at the postgraduate level. You were my head of department, my dean, my vice chancellor. You are my senior associate in research and training. On this day of your birthday, I'd like to join people of goodwill to wish you many more happy returns. If I were God, I would have made you to live forever. And I mean what I'm saying. Professor Ekpo is a gift, not just to Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria and Africa, but a gift to the world. On this auspicious day, my boss and mentor, not forgetting the pillar beside him, Reverend Jerry Akpan Ekpo. Thank you for all that you are to humanity. God bless you.
For those who want to donate to this cause, please inscribe your name, the amount of money you may want to donate, and your telephone number so we could get back to you. It is important that we all contribute to this cause. I thank you. Yes, Dr. Ekpo.
My own Vice Chancellor, my senior brother. But it's good to see you here after a long while. And to the celebrant, Professor Akpan Ekpo, and your beautiful wife has always been beautiful since ever I knew you. I have a very short tribute to make. I call it tribute because it's about him, and he should know, he should receive. In I can't remember exactly, but let me not take the. Someone who worked very closely with Governor Isong then. The mom passed away, and it was time to gather, of course, because he worked with the governor, so many people had to attend. Beautiful day like today. But there was a but. He was put in very difficult situation about what to say concerning the mom. Because at one point, the mom had lived and had committed sacrilege, which took away pride from the son. So what would he say as he was burying the mom? And he asked a few of us who were friends or who were close to him. I didn't really have any good answer to give him. I asked him to think through what to say, or perhaps to remain silent. He chose not to say anything when they called for tribute to the mom. Professor Akpan Ekpo, your situation is different. You make it very easy for us to say good things about you that are true. We don't have to manufacture, we don't have to think or manipulate what we need to say about you. Thank you for making our lives as a friend that easy. I can only ask that please continue to do that. Don't change. You'd always lived a life of protest. That's how we met in the corridors of the University of Calabar. As a young man, when others be gathering somewhere, maybe in the faculty room, in debut, and sometimes you drag us along. Can't we think differently about this? You've always learned to think differently. And thinking differently is a virtue. If we all learn to think differently, we can always show the other side of the beauty of the world and of the ideas. Because ideas are about different shades. You present different shades that are true. And you represent the different shades that are very simple and very practical. You've always lived your life for others. For options that we have that could have made money for you that I know, would always choose not to take those options if they do not have dignity and virtue, and rather would want to go on the side. So on the day of your birthday, I ask God to keep your life a shining star, and ask God to make you an inspiration for the rest of us. Thank you for that line play. God bless you. When we're celebrating next, I'm sure we'll come with new suits to clothe you. I've never seen you in that recently.
Comfort, Ekpo.
Dear Chairman, the Vice Chancellor, and my boss, whom we are celebrating. Distinguished audience, I'm really excited today. When we didn't have an end to people wanting to ask questions, I felt this is what we anticipated. As a matter of fact, that's what this center stands for. And to have opportunity like this to discuss and deliberate on issues and sensitize ourselves, this is what this center stands for. And I know Prof is very happy because he loves that. When I was in school, I remember the like of Toyo, I remember the like of Batmos of ABU. And when we were, youths, younger adults, and then we sit down and hear them talk about political issues, social issues, I know we had a lot to learn from those discussions. And I am challenging the team next year. Let's extend the petition to all the students. Let them come and hear. It's not just we will get this place established. The building will be up, and it's going to be to our taste by the grace of God. God is going to do it. And I want the younger one to come in and listen to the discussion so that they know what they have at hand. Protest is good, protest is bad, but it has to be managed. And we also have to look at ways where we can stop those that engineer negative protests, that bring down, that disrupt development. We want protests that can bring development. Thank you very much. I stand by you and I support you. I'm really happy. Thank you, sir. Devon and the wife. You see, this is what this gathering can achieve for us. On a yearly basis, we find ourselves together like this and interact. Thank you very much.
Chairperson. Dr. Happiness Odom, matter of seconds. Sharon, please.
Ambassador, the Vice Chancellor, the celebrants, ladies and gentlemen, I was very elated when I saw the title that was to be discussed today, because the life of ASU has been the life of protest. Without protest, we've got nothing. Everything we've had for the students and the little for ourselves have come as a result of protest. I couldn't come early because I had a class and I have another one at 3, but I came to meet some questions that were being asked of Professor Onwujuke. Professor Akpan, we're very excited that God has kept you alive. Remember your sojourn in the University of Abuja and how you took part in several protests that concerns the union. The union certainly hasn't forgotten that. And it should be on record because the union forgets nothing. Because you were at the forefront of protesting and getting certain things for the union. Apparently, because even the scripture states that anyone who is on the side of the oppressed will certainly go far. That's why you've gone far in life and God has continued to keep you. So the union wishes you a very happy birthday today and prays that you will keep on protesting for the good reasons. Even in old age, several levels of protest that you can put up in old age. And we ask that God will keep renewing your years as the years of the eagle. God bless you, sir.
Of a legendary leader and governor, Architect Obon Victor Atta. He is represented here by Barrister Basia Wanene. Barrister Wanene. Please let's encourage him as he comes.
Mr. Chairman, the learned soak, that's how we call him outside of here. Where he and I belong. Prof, you are not there. I know you are very particular about that. Prof is always intimidating me that he signed the certificate of lawyers even if he's not learned. The celebrant and his lovely wife, Reverend Jerry. I walked in here thinking that I was coming in here as myself and possibly as a member of the governing council of the board. If I had known that I was going to represent Obama, I would have walked differently. With small swagger. While I was sitting there, the message came to me. Happily, in my own case, technology did not fail. I am tempted to add my own comments, but I will not do so. Let me respect myself and respect my brief. This is the message, the goodwill message from Obama, and I'll read it as it is written. I was very happy when family, friends, and former students decided to build a center for public policy and name same after Professor Akpan Hogan Ekpo. Professor Ekpo has contributed immensely to the development of our state, country, and humanity, and hence deserves to be honored. You will all recall that Professor Ekpo worked with me during my tenure as governor in his capacity as the chairman of Akpan Investment and Industrial Promotion Council, usually called Ekpo. He was also a member of my think tank. To say that he was very useful in my government in the roles he played would be to make a severe understatement. I recall, and I believe you all do too, that I appointed him the first Vice Chancellor of our unique University of Technology, Akutech as it then was. Today I wish the center the very best and pray that we will all assemble same date next year to honor Prof as he bows out of the university system at the celebration of his 70th birthday. It is time we begin to celebrate our own while they are still alive. This is signed by Obon Victor Atta, former governor of Akpan State. I thank you very much.
Tables there. Those are books published by Professor Akpan Hogan Ekpo on the issues, social issues, economic issues, welfare issues, things that liberate humanity. Those books, as they are there, are not as costly as we would have gotten them elsewhere. So please do yourself the favor of going to that stand, pick some books, and just pay the token attached. Thank you very much.
The very best. Someone said that Prof should have been exported. But I wish to say that you don't need to export a man who is already on the international scene. Prof is an international material a man who is in the who is who in the world, where will you export him to? Today is a very important day in our lives as individual. I know the role you play in my life as an individual and the role you play in the life of many of us in the Department of Economics. The department is standing today because of your great strides. You have brought a lot to the department and to the university, to our nation and to our generation. We stand here today to wish you many more happy years and grow and age in grace. Thank you and God bless.
Lord, the University of Uyo, for his goodwill.
Moderator. My chairman, sir, the celebrant and the wife, very wonderful wife, very supportive. I just stand on the existing protocol. Truly, if I didn't say make any statement today, I will not be able to sleep well. After I would normally say, can you imagine that? I want to affirm that truly Professor Akpan H. Ekpo is a very rare gift to humanity. We have been told that he has been leading protests. And if I think you see the way he's sitting, you know that there's protest in him. But I want to look at it a bit different. I rather see him as a risk bearer. I don't know whether it's any resemblance of risk bearer and a protester. I don't know. You tell me after now. Why do I have to say so? I am aware that he came on board as the Vice Chancellor when University of Uyo was very turbulent. When we had